There's a level of discipline that shifts you from being an operator to a force of nature. It's the discipline that other people don't just respect. They fear it. This isn't normal commitment. It's a silent, irreversible commitment to a singular identity. It's the person who walks into a room and you instantly feel the difference. They are not trying to be focused. They simply are. Their energy is dense. Their word is law. Their time is sacred. They don't need motivation. They can swallow their kid and die over their heads. Motivation is for those who are still negotiating with themselves. Their life is automated. Their success is a foregone conclusion. Their schedule is not a suggestion, it is a sacred contract with the future version of themselves. Most people are weak because they are still deciding, still questioning, still allowing the friction of a soft moment to derail a hardened future. They are distracted because they are undisciplined. This is the system that will rewrite your brain. It is the architect's blueprint for becoming an unbreakable person with frightening consistency. But a warning, once you see this system, you cannot unsee it. This path is not for everyone. It requires the death of your old self. Raphael knew the cycle well. It began with the spark. A YouTube video, a book, a sudden burst of clarity on a Sunday night. This time, it would stick. He bought the notebook. He set the alarms. He felt the familiar surge of motivation. Monday morning. The first workout was brutal but clean. The first hour of focused work was productive. He felt the rush of self-respect. This is it. Tuesday. The energy was lower. An unexpected email. A minor disturbance. He hit snooze just once. The work session was okay, but the edge was gone. The contract was already bent. Friday. The entire system had crumbled. The workout was skipped for a late meeting. The focus block was replaced by scrolling. He looked at the notebook, the perfect plan mocking him. The internal negotiation had been lost hours ago. And then, the paralyzing guilt, the shame, the quiet self-inflicted wound. He promised himself, next week. I'll just try harder next week. The next week came. The cycle repeated. The burst, the erosion, the crash. He was strong. He was intelligent. He wanted the results more than anyone. Yet, the same weakness appeared every time, like a glitch in the code of his character. He looked at others, the truly successful ones, and they seemed to operate on a different fuel. He thought they had more willpower. He was wrong. He wasn't weak. He was fighting something he didn't understand. He was using a temporary tool, willpower, to solve an architectural problem, identity. The ancient masters understood this fatal flaw. Willpower is finite. Motivation is weather. You cannot build an empire on either. Instead, they built systems of irreversible commitment. This is the secret of the Zen monk, the samurai, the Stoic philosopher. They didn't rely on a decision made every morning. They installed a core identity that removed the necessity of decision altogether. They named their path Guji, continuous practice without gaps. This system is not about habits. It is about an identity enforcement ritual. Consider the difference between a reversible and an irreversible commitment. A reversible commitment is a New Year's resolution. You can quit tomorrow. Nobody cares. There is no consequence to your self-image. It is a negotiation with yourself, and you are a terrible negotiator. You always lose to the weaker, softer version of yourself. An irreversible commitment fundamentally changes who you are, witnessed by others, backed by a system larger than your fleeting desire. The samurai didn't choose discipline daily. They were initiated. Their identity was publicly declared, their life was immediately restructured around non-negotiable rituals, and the consequences of failure were immediate, often final. They didn't decide if they would train. They had already decided. The self-doubt was culturally obsolete. This is the shift we must execute. For Raphael, this meant a public formal declaration. He told his closest allies not as a casual goal, but as a statement of his new non-negotiable character, I am becoming an unbreakable person with frightening consistency. He detailed the Guji framework he would follow. This is critical. When your friends, your family, your peers know the new rules of your identity, they become your silent enforcement mechanism. They witness the ritual. Retreat becomes socially and psychologically expensive. You shift from, I want to be a consistent person, to, I am a consistent person. This is what a consistent person does. The power of this system is that it kills the mental debate. You are not asking if you should train. You are asking only how the consistent person, the unbreakable person, executes the task today. A choice is gone. The person who negotiates with themselves no longer exists. They have been replaced. But declaration is not execution. The biological machine doesn't care about your philosophy. It cares about energy conservation. Even with the new identity cemented, Raphael faced the brutal reality of the internal war, the immediate friction point where biology fights the blueprint. The alarm went off at 5 a.m. His eyes were closed, but his mind was already negotiating. Just 10 more minutes. It won't matter. I'll make up the focus later. This is the primitive brain, the energy miser, desperately trying to protect the perceived fuel reserves. It uses pleasure, comfort, and false logic as its weapons. It doesn't want you to be consistent. It wants you to be safe and soft. The breakthrough comes when you recognize this voice is not you. It is the relic of your old self, dying, attempting a final, desperate sabotage. Raphael learned to treat this moment as a battlefield, not a choice. He employed the core technique of the warrior: fixed time, zero negotiation. He had a 2-hour block set for the most important, identity-defining work. It was not a movable feast. It was a fixed point in the universe of his day. The moment the alarm sounded, the contract was active. There was no space for should I or could I. There was only the first physical movement, planting his feet on the floor. He described the feeling as a physical resistance, like wading through thick, cold water. Every step from the bed to the coffee maker, from the coffee maker to desk, was an act of non-negotiable friction. The visceral truth, the initial resistance, is the highest energy cost. You must push past the start. You must create initial momentum. He didn't need to feel motivated. He needed to execute the first 5 minutes. The rule was simple. Show up for the full fixed time block. If the work was terrible, fine, but the act of showing up, the presence in the non-negotiable block, reinforced the identity. It was a partial victory. The resistance was still there, but the negotiation was dead. The action had begun. One of the great destroyers of modern consistency is the illusion of choice. People constantly ask, what's the best routine? Should I meditate or journal? Should I lift heavy or do cardio? This is the sound of an undisciplined mind searching for a comfortable loophole. It is procrastination disguised as research. The Guji system, the path of frightening consistency, offers a brutal, immediate corrective. There is the one way. You are allowed to choose your system once. You choose the few, critical, identity-enforcing practices. Then, you stop choosing. Raphael understood that the question, what should I do now, is a luxury for the weak. For the unbreakable person, the answer already exists, etched into the structure of the day. Your rules must be dogmatic. They must be rigid. They must eliminate variety. If your core practice is to write 500 words, then you write 500 words. You do not write 400 and then decide to organize your inbox for an hour instead. You do not substitute reading a book on writing. You execute the agreed-upon, boring, repetitive action. This is where social friction begins. People will notice the rigidity. They will call you obsessive. They will worry that you aren't flexible. They will offer suggestions. Oh, you should really try this new app. It's better than what you're doing. Listen closely. Annoying is a feature, not a bug. Your unwavering commitment creates friction with the unstable world around you. This friction is the evidence that your identity is hardening. When others start criticizing your consistency, you know you are succeeding. You are becoming the strange thing, the solid thing, in a fluid, distracting world. If you skip your 5 a.m. session, your world should tilt. If you miss your 3 non-negotiable hours of work, it should feel like you violated a sacred trust. You must embrace the annoying, repetitive nature of the non-negotiable path. The question is not, is this the optimal thing to do? The question is this what the unbreakable person does? The answer is always the same. Execute the one way. Kill the choice. Kill the negotiation. Achieve the frightening consistency that comes from repetition, not brilliance. The true enemy of discipline is not laziness. It is all or nothing thinking. The belief that a momentary slip means the entire system is ruined. This allows for the full-scale retreat. The essence of Guji, continuous practice without gaps, destroys this dangerous binary. Raphael learned that consistency is not about perfection, it is about momentum. Think of a river. If the river stops flowing, it becomes a stagnant pool. It starts to die. But if the river narrows, or turns, or slows down dramatically for a mile, it is still a river. The water is still advancing. Your practice must be the river. The moment it stops, it dies. If you are sick, injured, or facing an extreme external crisis, you do not retreat. You implement the minimum viable act of consistency. If your non-negotiable workout is 60 minutes and you have a fever, you do not skip. You reduce the commitment to the absolute minimum required to maintain the identity. This might be 5 minutes of slow stretching. It might be 10 push-ups. It might be simply putting on your gym clothes, acknowledging the contract, and sitting down. The goal in that moment is not physical gain. The goal is identity maintenance. It is the ritual acknowledgement that the system is unbreakable. Rest is not retreat. Rest is a planned slowdown within the flow. Retreat is turning the river off. The fire must not go out. A blade, once forged and sharpened, must still be oiled and maintained. The energy must always be flowing, even if the flow is a trickle. This principle kills the self-sabotage of the perfect day. You will have ugly days. So, what is the kind of principle? You will have frustrating days, but the unbreakable person with frightening consistency never allows a gap. They reduce the commitment size, but they never, under any circumstance, allow zero. Zero is the death of Guji. Frightening consistency is not achieved by superior effort. It is achieved by superior planning. The truly disciplined person has solved 90% of their day before the day begins. They have removed the necessity for decision-making under stress. This is the neuroscience of habit automation. Every decision you make, even minor ones like what should I wear or what should I eat for lunch, consumes precious cognitive fuel. This is called decision fatigue. When your decision-making reserves are depleted, your primitive brain takes over, prioritizing comfort and ease. This is why you quit your diet at 9 p.m. The system of Guji requires pre-solutions. You must anticipate the failure points and create the fixed, non-negotiable response in advance. When X happens, I do Y. Raphael meticulously charted his primary failure modes. The late-night invitation. When a friend calls at 7 p.m. and suggests an unexpected, time-consuming activity, the answer is not, let me think about it. The pre-solution is, I have a fixed, non-negotiable block until 9 p.m. We can meet after or tomorrow. There is no discussion. The answer already exists. The unexpected crisis, sickness, injury, sensibility of the 7 BC. Pre-solution is the minimum viable act of consistency. Chapter 5. The 60-minute session is reduced to a 10-minute focus block, executed in a chair, no matter the quality. The failure of tools, internet gym closed. If the gym is closed, the pre-solution is a body-weight circuit, executed immediately in the living room. If the internet fails, the pre-solution is reading physical books or offline deep work. You do not stop the practice, you modify the tool. This is the monastic approach to life. Monasteries, elite military units, and ancient schools of philosophy did not succeed because their members were inherently stronger. They succeeded because their systems eliminated the need for individual decision. The rules for waking, eating, working, and sleeping were absolute. They did not wake up and ask, "What should I do now?" They knew exactly what to do. The path was predetermined. The pre-solution is your commitment to your future self, paid forward. You are installing an autopilot function for the moments of peak cognitive stress. The key is to write these pre-solutions down, memorize them, and treat them as the rule book. When the friction appears, you don't engage in mental debate. You simply check the rule book and execute the predetermined response. The question is removed, the answer is automatic. The relentless adherence to Guji, practice without gaps, leads to the final stage, identity collapse and rebirth. Raphael didn't suddenly become disciplined. He simply witnessed the gradual, total death of the version of himself who negotiated. The one who felt shame, who relied on motivation, who sought the easy way out. That person starved to death through thousands of small, non-negotiable actions. The identity shift is complete when the former pain becomes the new comfort. What felt like restriction now feels like freedom. What felt like friction now feels like gravity. The signal of success is not internal satisfaction, it is the discomfort of others. When Raphael now encounters people who are distracted, who are perpetually late, who speak in vague plans and constant negotiations, he no longer judges them. He simply recognizes their weakness as a foreign energy. He is no longer on their frequency. He has become the dense, immovable object in their fluid, chaotic environment. They will say he's changed. They are right. They will say he's too rigid, too intense, too focused. This is the sound of their soft, fragile system reacting to your unbreakable one. This is the confirmation that the transformation is real. He doesn't do the non-negotiable practice anymore. He is the non-negotiable practice. Your schedule is no longer a list of tasks. It is the expression of your inevitable character. You are not pursuing an outcome, you are enforcing an identity. The question is now simple. Will you continue to negotiate with the weakest part of yourself? Or will you accept the brutal, magnificent contract of transformation? Go now. Declare your new identity. Announce the rules of the unbreakable person. The negotiation is over. What if you stopped questioning your identity and simply decided, today, that you are the frighteningly consistent person?